Welcome to episode 1 of Replica SuperCar Lite. So what the heck is Replica SuperCar Lite? Well, it's my attempt to build a Gen 1 Camaro, which is going to be, in this case, a 67 on top of a Roadster Shop chassis. So this is the Roadster Shop chassis, a Spec chassis, which I just got back from the painter. I've had it for a month or two, and I was just now getting it assembled and getting it ready to go. So I thought I'd take you a quick little tour and show you all the cool stuff. So to begin with, their suspension is really interesting. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. The upper control arm is completely adjustable, and you can see, like right here, this is a cam, eccentric cam, and you can adjust your caster and your camber independently. It's kind of a race car setup. You can't really see it on the bottom, but this is a single adjustable strange coilover shock that they used to use. They're not using this anymore. They're now using a Fox, which is a new valve body, new everything, and it's more designed for everyday street driving rather than autocross. So I've got those ordered up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use them, but we'll see how it works. This is a standard Mustang 2-inch drop style spindle, so just about anything fits on it. They sell bare brakes, but I'm kind of a big Willwood guy, so I'll be putting 6-piston Willwoods on the front and probably 4-piston on the rear. So this is really a sophisticated system. I mean, it's really, really great. I'm really impressed with the engineering. For those of you who are familiar with 3D, this has to be designed in either SolidWorks or Pro E, that would be Pro Engineer, which is a SolidWorks modeling program in which they can design everything in 3D, fit them, and then pass that information to a machine tool. And so the tolerances on this thing are just spectacular. I'm really, the more I look at it, the more I'm impressed. So I've done Morrison, I've done Speed Tech, I've done quite a few other ones, and Ride Tech's the other one. I just finished a 4-bar on that one, and part of the reason why I went to this one is because of the fact that this is the first full chassis for a unibody. Both the early Mustang and the Camaro, Gen 1 Camaro, use a unibody. So on the front of them, there's 4 bolts that hold the front end together. This one, there's actually 6 bolts. There's one here. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one here. One here. And then in the back, over here. So that's 6 mounting points. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the unibody on the Gen 1 Camaro, the front is a clip, which is 4 bolts, and it completely is removed. You can unbolt it and take it out. The rear clip is actually not a clip. It's welded into the body. So what they do is they bolt into the rear subframe, which is right here. So it's really going to be kind of interesting to see how everything fits up. The only issue I have right now is the tank. The tank is smaller. You can't use a stock tank. This distance between here and here is about 34 inches. So I don't want to spend $2,000 on a stainless steel tank. So I'm going to use a stock tank and chop it up a little bit. Figure out what I want to do. The 4-bar rear, which I'll show you in a minute, is been removed because I have to shorten it. But this is... it's really, really a great design. Part of the problem with the Gen 1 Camaros is that even with a clip or a front subframe like the Morrison, which is really, really nice, and the rear, 4-bar triangulated rear, or even in IRS, is that the only way you can connect them together is with frame connectors, and the frame connectors doesn't give it any torsional rigidity. So it's problematic at best if you're really going to push them. So they've come up with this design, and you can see how they have bolted it together. The Spec, where it says Spec right there, that's a 3/16" plate that bolts into the bottom. You can undo that when you do your mufflers, your exhaust system. So that's really kind of trick. I like that. The cross member up in the front here for the tranny, that is, well, that's the stock 8L90 trans member that goes in to the cross member, but doesn't quite fit. You can see it doesn't. We're off a little bit. I'm not sure what the issue is, but it's minor, to say the least. The whole thing's upside down. I just threw it in there for right now so you can show what it is. Take a quick look over here and show you the engine. So back in late 2015, early 2016, I saw the LT4, and I was one of the first guys to put the LT4 in the Gen 1 Camaro in my 68. And I don't need 700 horsepower. I didn't realize that that was too much. So I've migrated to the LT1. This is actually an L83, which is the 5.3 liter, and that's the 8L90 transmission. It used to be four-wheel drive. There's the transfer case, which we took out, and we converted it from four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive. And I've got a write-up on that, but I haven't posted it yet. And it's not that... It's a fair amount of work. But anyway, I got a deal on the engine. So this is a 2019 L83. The stock, they're around 360 horsepower. VVT, direct injection, the whole ball of wax. So we'll probably be getting a little bit over 400 when we're done with it. So this is the engine and the drivetrain in the first one that we're going to do. Part of what's really impressive about this system is it's generic. You can see, here's the motor mounts. I've used two different types, and I'll explain those in a minute. But this particular piece right here is, will accept anything. This particular motor mount here, this unit's designed specifically for Gen 5. This is a standard small block Chevy motor mount, which, considering how much technology that they put in place, you think that they would design their own, but who knows, maybe they got other things to do. This one that you're looking at on the right is LSX Innovations. They're out of Bend, Oregon. I use them, and I use ICT Billet. The one on the left is the stock one that they've given me from Roadster Shop. Completely different design, big hunk of metal. And you can't really see it that much, but the design that they've given me lowers the engine a little bit and pushes it farther back. I can't quite make the same adjustments I can with the LSX. So one of the concerns that you have putting these in is how close to the firewall. So I normally use these adjustable ones. You can get sliding adjustable ones. You can see the different holes, and you can move it forward and back considerably. Because depending upon what kind of radiator and fan combination you have, and your intake and all that kind of stuff, the real estate gets eaten up quickly. So I like these ones on the right. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use yet, but I just wanted to show the two difference. These are relatively inexpensive, less than $50 a pair. And if I need to push the engine up forward more, then I will use that one. The other concern we have is the pan. The pan is always a problem, but on the truck engines, the pan seems to work pretty good. Part of the reason why these modern suspensions work so well is that they have the ability to increase the caster. As I start off with the video, this is the cam lock in here, which allows you to adjust your caster and your camber. This particular sway bar, it's really neat. I've never seen anything like this before. This piece here is actually a factory GM part. I can tell because it came in a factory GM bag. And it's kind of a double-ended, isolated connector that acts the way a regular bolt, the through bolt on the top of your sway bar works. But this is kind of a really unique design that I've never seen before. Everything in this design is, the tolerances are really, really tight. As you can see down on the bottom, there's not much leftover room. You can't see on the bottom of the shock, but this is a single adjustable shock, which normally, like on QA1s and Acceptor and Vikings, though, the adjuster will be down in here sometimes or on the back side, and they're really hard to get to because they're behind the wheel and stuff, and sometimes you can snake your hands in there. But it's easier if you take the tire off and wheel, and then you can adjust it. But in this case, it's down underneath. So all you have to do is just reach underneath it and make your adjustments. So for a guy who wants to go to the track, you just roll on in, jack it up, change your caster and your camber, and crank her up to 6 or 7 or 8 or 10, and off to the races you go. This is a really interesting, you can see how close the tolerances are there with the hydraulic power steering rack, the rack and pinion. This is a Unisteer product that they use. So it bolts in there really nice. And then the sway bar actually has not adjustable, but it has Zerk fittings. And then you can see the collar. So that collar holds it in place and keeps everything ready to go. So that's a quick little 1-2 of the Roadster Shop chassis, which I'm really looking forward to get this thing up and running. So if you're interested in Gen 5 drivetrains or using them, you can download my Gen 5 installation guide at my website, which is automobileman.com. It's about 5 years old. I've had about, maybe 10, 11 revisions. It's a 20-page document. It's free. So you can either download that, or you can watch the video series, which is also on the website, automobileman.com, or you can look under my name, David White, for YouTube. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you soon too. Bye.